it is very easy in the middle of the grotesque genocide against the Palestinian people in Gaza. It is very easy to forget what's happening in the West Bank, in East Jerusalem, inside the 1948 lines of Israel. It is very easy to forget the apartheid and long-term or permanent Nakba against the Palestinian people that has been going on since 1948. It's very easy. The focus is on Gaza. Our eyes are on Gaza, as they should be, and the Israelis are doing whatever they want in the West Bank, in East Jerusalem. They are annexing large parts of the territory. They are destroying people's lives. They are arresting political leaders. They are killing young militants. They are effectively trying to demoralize the Palestinians in the West Bank so that they can create a greater Israel from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. I'm very happy that the IPA is focusing on the issue of the Palestinian political prisoners, because this brings us right back to the question of the Palestinian political project. The Palestinian political project, it's true that until Oslo in 1994, there was a unified Palestinian political project. It's also true that at the time, the unifying symbol for most of the 30 years before Oslo, the unifying symbol was Yasser Arafat, and it was the Palestinian Liberation Organization. Oslo broke up the Palestinian unity. That is true. It is a fact. You don't have to take my word for it. It's what the Palestinian leadership in the prisons wrote in a letter 10 years after Oslo, the so-called Palestinian prisoners document, a very important text, a vital text, where the Palestinian leadership from Hamas, from Islamic Jihad, from Fatah, from the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, the Democratic Front for the Liberation of Palestine, and others gathered together secretly to produce a text talking about the importance of a renewed Palestinian political project to fight against the Israeli apartheid regime, to fight against Zionism. A new project was necessary. This was a very key political intervention, because what the prisoners' document did then was to say, we will not allow our political vision to be killed. Not just a genocide, but also a politicide, the murder of the Palestinian political project. I want to say this up front because I want us to understand that the Israeli prisons where they are holding Palestinians is not just a place where they are holding and torturing Palestinians, but they are holding and torturing Palestinian political leaders, trying to break the spirit of Palestinian politics in general. That's why I was very glad that the Palestinian Prisoners Club, Amani's organization, released the report on the 12th of August of this year, describing the conditions inside the Israeli prisons where they are holding not prisoners really, but detainees, administrative detainees, Palestinian political leaders from different levels of Palestinian society who are mostly being held without charge under detention orders and are being tortured in these prisons. That is what the Palestinian Prisoners Club report from the 12th of August demonstrates. It demonstrates the ongoing politicide of Palestinian society. It demonstrates the attempt to demoralize Palestinian society, and it demonstrates the attempt by Israel to annex all the territory. Part of this politicide has been an attack, a direct attack on Palestinian prisoner organizations, not simply the Palestinian Prisoners Club or the Palestinian Prisoner Society, but Al-Adamir, Al-Haq, the Bisan Center, all of them criminalized. The Israelis falsely accused them of terrorism in order to prevent the outside world from knowing what's happening inside the prisons. Adamir, Al-Haq, Palestinian Prisoners Society, Palestinian ex-detainees society, etc., are a vital source for information for us outside to hear about the politicide taking place not only inside the prisons, but in Palestinian society. And Israel has deliberately criminalized these organizations. I'd like to add that Nadia Dakka, who was with us on this webinar, was personally attacked when she was merely doing her job as an attorney for a Palestinian prisoner. Right-wing Israeli groups chasing after her with cameras, yelling and screaming, trying to intimidate her. Not only to intimidate Nadia Dakka, but to intimidate all Palestinian lawyers who are defending the detainees inside the Israeli prison system. This attack at Al-Adamir, at Al-Haq, at Bisan Center, at Palestinian Prisoners Club, at Nadia Dakka and others is a concerted, deliberate act by the Zionist state to silence the voice of prisoners, the political voice of Palestine from within prisons. This is a very important point for us because what the Israelis have been doing is not only holding our brother Marwan Barghouti in prison for 24 years. Our brother Hassan was in prison for 20 years as well, 24 years as well, a very, very long time, a quarter of a century. I just want people to pause and recognize the clarity and decency of Hassan's voice after having spent 24 years in an Israeli prison. He has absolutely no bitterness, just political clarity. That has to be respected and saluted, comrade. That is very, very important for you to give us as an example of the absolute clarity that you give to the world, the absolute sincerity with which you speak about the Palestinian political project. Our brother Marwan Barghouti, 24 years in an Israeli prison, in that exchange with that disgusting Israeli politician, the only dignified person there was our brother Marwan Barghouti. In the same way, our brother Ahmad al-Sadat in prison 24 years, 1 month less than Marwan Barghouti. These are senior leaders of Al-Fatah, senior leaders of the Palestinian Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. They go after the senior leaders, of course. Khalida Jarrar, another senior leader. Of course, they go after the senior leaders, trying to decapitate Palestinian politics. But let's be very clear about one thing. These prisons are filled with detainees who are 16 years old, 17 years old, 18 years old. When I was last in Ramallah, I had a meeting with this exact age group, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old comrades from the camps. These were the local level leadership from street to street, from alley to alley. They built the Palestinian resistance, the committees of resistance in Jenin, in Bethlehem, in Ramallah, in Jerusalem. These young men and women build the resistance. And it's these young men and women who are also being picked up in the swoops through the towns. When Israel went into Jenin, for instance, who did it arrest? Young boys and girls who are the heart of the Palestinian resistance on the ground. It's not that they're just picking up random people and taking them in. This is the politicide, the attempt to kill off Palestinian politics, to kill the resistance against Zionism from the top, Marwan Barghouti, Ahmad al-Sadat, Khalida Jarrar, and so on, but also right down the middle, so that when a young man like Ahmad Saeed Tazaza is killed, age 20, this young man is not just any young man. These are young men and women who are building the resistance from the ground up. I want to mention before I end that Israel has held people for 40, 45 years. Many of these people, no charge at all. It's not just 20 some years. 20 years is a lot, but 40 years, the cruelty of Zionism has to be appreciated. The cruelty of a project that is so desperate to erase the Palestinians from world history, that is willing to hold for people for 40 years, for 25 years, to take young boys and girls aged 16 and torture them to death. That is what Israel is willing to do. When the Israelis turn around and say Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East, perhaps they are right. Perhaps that is what democracy has become. Ask the United States, which destroyed Iraq, a democratic country, destroyed Iraq, illegal war against the Iraqi people, over 1 million people killed. Is that what the word democracy has come to mean? Is that what they are doing to our language? We refuse them. We will not be subdued by them. We will stand with our brothers and sisters who are detained inside Israeli prisons. And we will say to them, we are with you. But more than anything else, we will accompany you as you revitalize the Palestinian vision for emancipation and liberation. We will be with you that day in Jerusalem when the Palestinian flag goes up and Palestinians and others cheer with joy. Thanks very much.